Shalom,
Shalom.
brothers and sisters out there.
Awesome.
This is Awake, O Israel Ministries. We do thank and praise the Most High, Ahayah, Ahayah, bahashem, Yashayah,
Kadesh.
for this opportunity to be on in front of you.
Yes.
We're going to talk about tonight Christianity exposed. Very
Go ahead, brother.
religion or Israelites. So I want to try to go over some misconceptions. That
Excuse me.
I want to go over some misconceptions that that we have been raised in,
Go ahead.
that and explain the importance of understanding this Bible correctly. Okay? The Bible is the word of the Most High. Now, however you want to take that, believe it or not, it is what it is. So, why does there seem to be this great misunderstanding about the Bible? Well, the Bible has, when we talk about the word Bible, there is no word Bible in the Bible. Bible is just a Greek word which is biblos, or translate into records. So the records of the Bible was written by a people. Now, of course, we understand, due to the fact the world has been conquered by Europeans or Edomites,
Come on.
They will cover up artifacts and information that would cause them to be questioned as authority. That is why we don't see a lot of artifacts nowadays, or more and more is coming out, confirming the biblical narrative. Okay? Because we have a fake people in the land of Israel who control the archaeology and the information coming out there, and they're not going to publish anything that contradicts their authority. Although they know they're not the original people, and that's been established by DNA.
That's right.
That they are the seed of Esau.
Yes, they
and
are.
that's not a problem. But own up to what you are. Stop trying to be something you are not. And that goes, see, when you misunderstand the Bible, it's very easy to fall into a lot of different concepts of reality. This whole African American or African thing is a lie. The Israelites are not African.
That's right.
The people that came over here on during the transatlantic slave trade were not Africans.
Want me to get the John DeVille? Okay.
Absolutely. So I want to
Go ahead, brother.
break this down to you. The Bible was not written by Africans. Mostly the Most High was destroying African cultures through his people, because they worship the sun, the moon, ancestor spirits, witchcraft. The Most High the Most High destroyed the Egyptian culture.
That's right.
In the Bible. That is why ancient Egypt is nothing today. All that remains are some pyramids and some tombs, because the Most High destroyed that culture. Why? Because they enslaved his people. So the people that control this earth, whether it be Ishmaelites or Edomites, understand the Most High. Esau understands that the Most High is going to destroy their kingdom.
That's right.
That they have built off the backs of his people.
I'll read it when you're ready, Josh.
So we understand that just because you come off a land does not make you of that land.
Correct.
Meaning, you can live amongst different racial groups in a land. That does not make you of that racial group or that DNA group.
Correct, because Africa itself, Tony, you said there's a lot of different nations there, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's why.
And so the question is, if you're African, what nation do you originate out of?
Mm-hmm.
And what tribe was originally there?
There you go. That's good, brother.
So the question is, are you African or are you not? If you are a descendant of the people who came over here during the transatlantic slave trade, where do you originate from? Really, what is the truth of your origin?
There you go. There you go.
It's not Egyptian. It's not African. You are not of the seed of African or Ham. That is a religious doctrine and a social doctrine that has constructed you to believe a lie.
That's right. Come on.
Africans are not your people, so-called Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Africans are not your people.
We have infallible proof that anyone who came over on the transatlantic slave trade are Hebrews, Israelites. Go ahead, let me read
So
it,
the
Josh.
Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
Show them, Josh. You just show them where it is. Get the Zondervan. If you don't have
I want to read this.
Yeah.
So we're going to see who Ham
the
is.
Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It's one of the best ones in the world. It's really good. Okay. Ham. All right, Josh, get talk. And I'll read. We're going to read about Ham. Ham. Perhaps Hot, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
So Zondervan, who is a scholar and a historian, and all historians and scholars know this, that the Negroes or the African Americans do not descend, that includes Jamaicans and Haitians, they do not descend from any African family. Read.
But the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
So if you read Genesis 10, those are the children of Ham. So if you are a Negro, you do not descend or are not genetically related to those people.
That's right.
So, and again, this is proven information. Okay.
Good book. Get the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It's really good. It's really good.
So, this information will not be published in any mainstream book, any mainstream information. Why? Because it will contradict the narrative they teach you through their school system and their religious system. Because all black people are taught are that they are the seed of Ham, or they are African. Okay? So, that causes a misunderstanding, and I want to show you all something. Something here. I don't want to take too long. Okay, hold on, everybody. Okay, everybody. The word prejudice.
Prejudice.
Okay, I want to read definition 2. An advantage of an adverse opinion or learning formed without just grounds or before sufficient knowledge. So people, there are a lot of prejudiced people who mainly because they don't understand.
Go ahead, brother. This is good.
Hold on, everybody. I like this one too. So, an irrational attitude of hostility directed against an individual or group, a race, or that, or their supposed characteristics.
That is good. That's good.
So let me read those two definitions again. An adverse opinion or learning formed without just grounds or before sufficient knowledge. So that means, brothers and sisters, hold on. Let me explain that. So the definition I just read was an adverse attitude of, hold on. An adverse attitude, opinion, formed without just grounds or before sufficient knowledge. So that's the definition of prejudice that I want to work with. So if you don't understand the Bible correctly, which the Bible hasn't been taught correctly,
Come on.
that will form prejudices within a person that will be substantiated and reinforced by books you read, the media, general life in general. Because if you don't have just grounds or sufficient knowledge, you should learn the reality of the knowledge you lack.
That's right. Come on.
Which means, okay, Black people, Negroes are not Africans. Okay? That's a fact. All theologians know this.
We just read it to you.
All your geneticists know this. All your scientists know this. So, the fact of the matter is, brothers and sisters, due to the fact that people have been mistaught, this causes prejudiced views of blacks and Hispanics, because who is always painted as the evil, the evildoers, Latinos and blacks. So without understanding why that is, you will establish within yourself a misunderstanding of what is real and why they are always painted as evil. Okay, brothers and sisters, so it's common sense. We know that Negroes in the ghetto don't fly in drugs that plague their community. They don't, and I'm not condoning you doing drugs, but we know that the government has a strategic plan and agenda that is focused against the Israelites. So, and this is reinforced in media since let's just say the last 30 years, since the 80s. You have the birth of the rap or the hip hop scene, which reinforces the negative prejudice stereotypes that people have about mainly black people, that they're thugs, they're
gangbangers, yeah,
whores and all that. Why? Because if you see something long enough without being around people, you will begin to believe the narrative that the television pushes at you, that you are given. And that narrative is never the reality.
That's correct.
Because who controls the media? Who controls the printing presses? Who controls the prisons? And why is it that mainly blacks and Hispanics fill prisons? Because it's more fiscal for the prisons to target poor blacks and Hispanics, because they're more profitable. That is why courts give blacks and Hispanics higher sentences.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's free labor they can make money off of.
How true.
That is why, if you go to the black community, very few black people own businesses in their community. Why? It is a strategic plan to control the money in the black community. That's why you see Asian hair salons, you see Chinese restaurants, Italian restaurants, and all this. And I'm not against you eating. How can I say? I'm not against someone having a business, but a community should be owned by the people and ran by the people in it.
That live there, that's right.
Not by people who don't live there.
That's correct. That's why you need that book, Hebrews to Negroes.
So
you need to get that book.
So we understand, brothers and sisters, that there is a particular plan against the people. And nobody can answer the problem. The problem was never the Bible. The problem is that the Bible has been mistaught so much that it's hard to even determine if the truth is true. Because if you've been through so many different churches and denominations, you don't know really what to believe. Right? You don't know what to believe.
This is true.
Right? So, hold on, brother. So the first definite, and then I'll go into the Bible, because I want to go into the Bible. I don't want to spend too much time with this. Excuse me, brother. Okay, there it is. So, prejudice. The second, an irrational attitude of hostility directed against an individual, group, or a race. So,
Give me your glass, Russell.
so,
This is good.
so, what does this mean?
Tell me, Russell.
And that doesn't necessarily cause people to be hostile,
No, not at all. That's right.
but it can cause you to support the people that are doing actually perpetrating the evil against these people. Because if you don't really know why, you can't really solve the problem. Okay? Real time, real talk. If you don't know the answer, you shouldn't say nothing.
That's right. Come on. That's right. Right there. Come on.
So,
See, that's ignorance on their part. Why say something you don't know?
so I want to go into the Bible here.
Where to?
I want to go to the book of Psalms.
Which song?
Okay.
Which song?
What chapter?
Okay, so I want to go into the book of Psalms, 83.
Can you move over just a little that way, Josh? All right. 83. Great chapter. Okay, that's good. I can see.
Hold on. So while I'm going into this, okay, race. Okay, hold on. Let me go there. So, racism, right? A belief that a race, a primary determinant of human traits, and capacities, and that racial differences produce a inherent superiority of a particular race. A doctrine or political program based on the assumption that of racism and Excuse me, brothers and sisters. Okay, so again, Psalms 83, everybody. So it would make sense that we would be taught
Mm-hmm. Come on.
that through society as well as religion, even, that the people who built this country are inferior. Okay? Read.
Keep not thou silence, O Most High. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So the people that hate the Most High have controlled the world, and they will make you believe the Bible is irrelevant. Why? Because the people that wrote the Bible, they have to keep convincing them that they're not of the book they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They consulted against thy hidden ones.
So they have come privately together, and since they know that they forced the people off a land, Africa, just dealing with the Negroes. We know that this happened with Hispanics. They were sold all over to Europe and other places as well, Latinos and Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a plan, and while they were doing this, they established a supremacist concept that the people that they were enslaving and using to build their empire were lesser than them, which makes no sense, because you can't work a people practically to death and them not be superior. Well, you reap the benefits of their work. Read.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
That is why every other answer other than this will not solve the problem for the so-called Negroes and Latinos. Why? Because you are a nation of people that have, through captivity and oppression, have been cut off from that knowledge. That is why the CIA and FBI and different government agencies can push drugs and prostitution and all that evil that you see in your neighborhoods. It is because they have used this space of slavery where they had you on the plantation to study you,
Mm-hmm.
and so they could manage and come up with a strategic plan and agenda that will keep your people separate.
Wow. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So that the name of Israel, they don't care what title they give you that you call yourself, as long as you don't start calling yourself who you really are, an Israelite.
Come on.
So that's the main agenda that they don't want you to have, brothers and sisters, right? They don't want you to have a nationality that God gave you. They don't care if you call yourselves what they called you.
Mm-hmm.
They only worry about if you start reconnecting, and this goes into helping brothers regardless of your race. If you don't understand the Bible, you will develop racial prejudices based on the media and all this against your friends. Why? Because you'll believe that they are, and I'm not saying they don't use drugs, which they do, But what I'm saying is the drugs would not be in their community if there had not been an agenda and a plan for that condition to exist, right? So without that understanding, you will, whether you're white or whatever, you will have a negative view of black people because you don't understand the reason that exists.
Mm-hmm.
You just look at the condition and judge the people for it.
That's right, Josh.
And I'm not, and of course, I'm saying put down all that and follow the commandments, brothers and sisters.
That's right.
But the reason that is because there's an agenda and there's a strategic plan that has existed since slavery to keep these people at the bottom. So they can never see themselves as anything but bottom.
That's right.
Read.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against it.
They are what?
Confederate.
Meaning they understand their
Together.
strength and power and unity.
That's right.
Right? That is why they prosper off of division amongst you. Right? Amongst Israelites. That's why they don't care if you call yourselves a Muslim, a Christian, a Kemetic, Egyptologist,
They don't care.
an atheist, whatever, as long as you are divided.
Mm-hmm.
You can be whatever they want to be. You want to call yourself.
A people divided cannot stand.
A nation that is divided against itself can never stand
That's right.
together.
That's right.
Read.
That's good, Josh. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacle of Edom is your Jewish bankers, your elite, your presidents, your European royalty. All of them trace their lineages back to Esau, the brother of Jacob. And that's including the Jewish people.
And the Ishmaelites.
Now, that's talking about your influential Ishmaelites or Arabs. That's the people that run the Arab world.
Of Moab, that's right.
So,
all right, want to stop there?
And
the Hagarenes. Gibal. That's
stop.
all the Muslim nations.
Uh-huh. So, go to Psalm 64.
Okay, Psalm 64. Start at 3, Josh, or start
At 2.
At 2.
64 and 2.
Psalms 64, 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked,
Mm-hmm.
from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity,
Read.
who whet their tongue like a sword.
So what is Esau's tongue? His printing press, his book, his religious, his religion, his social engineering, his media, newspapers, books. His whole agenda is against a people. That is why if you don't understand who the people that are in the book, you'll misunderstand the message in the Bible. And I'm not saying it's all about color and race. It's about covenant and following the commandments. But that covenant and commandments was given to a people. That is why a certain people are cursed or judged heavier than all the other races. Right? That is why black people, so-called Negroes, the children of Israel, are on the bottom of everything because they were given something directly from God, that if they broke that original covenant, the nations, the pagan nations, the satanic worshipers would get power over them. So they would begin to be able to dictate the ideology to the Israelites, which was never the plan of the Most High. God's plan was for the Israelites to teach the world. He never intended for the Gentile nations to teach his people.
That's right. Come on.
Because he knew they would lie to them. Read.
And whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows. Even bitter words.
Even what?
Bitter words.
Drug addict, prostitute,
Come on.
pimp, hoe,
gangbang,
nothing
right?
inferior.
Wow.
So that's showing you, this is talking about a strategic plan. David, through the Spirit, is given a prophecy.
Come on.
That his people would go into captivity, and there would be a whole socio-economic attack waged against them.
Well, now watch how the Most High looks at his people, the ones who really keeping everything, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
In secret, in what?
At the, in secret.
In what?
In secret.
No, in public.
In secret.
So they don't come out with this in public because you will never elect them.
That's right.
So they have to come together in a cabal, or like in Psalms 83, in a secret council,
right? And
make these strategies,
right? And
so mainly these strategies really came out of what? The slavery, right?
That's right.
Read the next verse in a second. In slavery, right? So what happened was from 1619 to about 1865. Well, we know that slavery never ended, but that's the timeline they give us. Abraham Lincoln, the white man freed you. The white man never freed you.
That's
He's
right.
still profiting off of you.
That's right.
But here's my point. During slavery, they made up a strategic plan of how to keep your people weak, to effeminize your men, and to make your women masculine. That's a whole Willie Lynch system. Destroy the male image, and that will create a woman that is independent and will raise her children in reverse roles, effeminate male, strong bodies. Because why? Because the master needs the body to build his empire. And strong women who don't need protection of a man, that's where you get welfare. Welfare makes it illegal for a man to take care of you. But a man will take care of you. The system takes care of you, but he's abusive to you. He doesn't allow a man to be with you. And that is a whole divide and conquer the home, and the home will destroy itself. Read.
They encourage themselves in an evil manner.
So they come together and encourage themselves to do wickedness against the Israelites. Read.
They commune, right, of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities.
So they find all these wicked doctrines to push on your people. Read.
Wow. They accomplish a diligent search.
So they accomplish this search because they have the money and the resources and the knowledge of how to attack you.
Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Okay.
I like that, but the Most High will shoot at them with an arrow.
But see, the Most High will destroy their kingdom eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's coming real soon.
Psalms 10 and 7.
10 and 7. Okay.
Israel is not done away with.
That's right. It's a lie.
That's a whole religious doctrine that they invented during slavery. So you all, the people they built this empire upon, would have no interest of knowing who you are.
And it really was forced out with most of the Word of Faith and big churches in America about Israel being lost and they're no more. And now it's even in the small churches. So that's that venom, Tony, that poison that they spread. Okay.
Verse 7.
You're well alive, brothers and sisters. You're here today. 10:7, right?
Uh-huh.
His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and
his
fraud.
Mouth or his media or his whole social programming is set up to curse or to misinform everybody. Read about the Israelites.
Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages.
That's the high places, the places you're not allowed in. Read.
Wow. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent.
So he comes up with all these plans again during slavery, and this agenda is passed down.
Oh yeah.
Of how to keep these people destroyed. Read.
Wow. His eyes are privily set against the poor.
Against the who?
Poor.
The poor are the Israelites. Read.
He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den.
Read.
He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net.
So his net has been set up from slavery.
Yes, 400 years ago.
Read.
He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong one.
So he tries to seem humble and like that he's for you. That's how they get you to elect them.
Wow.
They appear humble and like they're gonna save you out of your condition.
Yeah, like this mayor in Jacksonville. He says he's gonna get crime under control. Yeah, lots of luck.
Read.
He had said in his heart, the Most High hath forgotten. Yeah, huh? He hideth his face; he will never see it.
So
watch out.
Romans 11.
Yeah. Well, he sees everything, don't he, Tony?
Yep.
He sees everything. Romans 11. Okay, I'm there. Okay,
So,
Romans 11.
Romans 11.
Tony, after we get on, well, get Mary up so you guys can have dinner.
So, we see there's a political, social, and economic agenda that has been set up and handed down through slave. Since slavery began, there has always been a plan to oppress the Israelites.
This
And
is great.
he
This is
teaches everybody that God, it doesn't matter. God is forgotten.
right.
All that, is done away with.
Mm-hmm. This is good. I like your answer to this. The first verse, right? 11. I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people?
So Paul is asking a question, brothers and sisters.
God forbid.
Has God, since the Israelites are under a condition of slavery,
We'll
and
use God
oppression,
because you guys use God, but that's not
right?
his name. Go ahead, Josh.
Stop.
All right.
So has God completely done away with his people? No. See, that's the agenda or the mindset of the people who rule you. So see, this is why they will never teach you this out of the Bible. They know what the Bible breaks down to. Okay? They know that your people wrote the Bible. Israelites wrote the Bible. Black Hebrew
right.
Israelites.
For I also am an Israelite.
I'm a Christian.
An Israelite.
So Paul was an Israelite.
Uh-huh.
Paul, James, John, Peter, the apostles in Christ were Israelites.
All Hebrew Israelites. Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
God hath not cast away his people,
That's
which
right.
he for. So God has not done away with Israel. I'll read a little bit now. Verse number
2, John.
Skip to verse 8. According as it is written,
Hold on.
God
Okay,
hath given them a spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear until this day.
Wow.
So what does this mean? Does that mean they're blind? No, this is spiritual blindness.
That's right.
So spiritual blindness is propagated to a religion. So there would sooner or later become a religion that would teach the Israelites against their book.
Wow. This is so true.
Not necessarily, but they would have their book, but they wouldn't have the knowledge of it.
That's it.
Because they would be taught that half of it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about
in your heart.
Jesus, and which I agree it is about the Messiah, but you have to know the truth about his people and the Messiah.
And his doctrines, that's right. And David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block unto I, and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened,
Read.
That they may not see, and bow down their back away.
So that means in their darkened state of knowledge, they would be prospered off of to build their enemy's nation or kingdoms.
Wow.
Read.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles.
Read.
For to provoke them to jealousy.
Read.
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
So, exactly. Through the fall of the nation of Israel, you get America.
Come on.
Being built. You get all these European nations being built up. You get slavery. You get Jim Crow. You get all this stuff. Why? Because the people of the covenant broke their covenant, and because of that disconnect, that brought a supernatural judgment upon them.
Come on.
Now you can get out of this by coming back to the truth. You are the children of Israel, so-called Negroes and Latinos. And the only way out of this is to reject what the slave masters and the programmers gave you during slavery. Not the Bible, but the religion and the false understanding that is propagated through that. Read.
Okay. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
So the only way the Gentiles could have been made rich is through the fall of the Israelites.
Come on. And the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
Go to verse 17.
17, okay. 17. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, grafted in among them, and with them.
So what this is, so the olive branch or the tree is Israel. So if the Israelites were cut off by breaking their covenant, and if the Gentiles or the other nations started to convert and believe in the truth and keep the commandments, read.
Okay. And with them partakers of the root and fatness.
So the Gentiles became partakers of the truth.
Of the olive tree. That's right.
Not the originators of it, but partakers in it.
Wow. Boast not against the branches.
So Paul is giving a command to these Gentiles, these Europeans. Just because you're coming into this knowledge, don't start to boast and behave yourself as if you're the originator.
That's right. Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee.
Read.
Thou will say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in.
Stop. So that is the attitude of the Gentile religion of Christianity.
There you go, John.
They teach
they're the Jews. Yeah.
Hold on. I'll put this. That's good, everybody.
Wow. Awesome, brother.
So that is the attitude. Read that verse again, 19.
Okay, 19. 19 or 18. 19. Thou will say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in.
So what is Paul saying? He's giving a prophecy that the Gentiles would begin to boast and say, Israel is done away with. It doesn't matter who they are. Now it's about us.
Right.
Stop.
Okay.
So, and that's exactly what they teach you.
Yeah.
They teach you it's not about physical, it's about spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that is strategic, because if they taught you it was about physical, you would end up going and looking for physical traits and things that were given to these people, and you would follow them. Right?
That's correct.
That is why they teach you that it's not about physical. Because there were things that were given to a physical people that would separate these people and make them above these nations.
Right. The covenant that the Most High made with his people at Mount Sinai. That's not spiritual. That's a promise. That's
so
physical.
Due to the fact that we live in America and the white man or the Edomites control or run this nation from the top, they will manage and make sure the doctrine that was installed during slavery is taught, regardless, whether it's through religion, school books, television, whatever medium you want. They will make sure their perverse knowledge and understanding is spoon-fed to you from a child. And they make sure that they never explain or tell you the reason why. Right? They don't want the reason why to be known, because they understand that the Most High is going to send his son back to save the Israelites and whoever else believes in this truth.
Amen.
Right? Salvation is for everybody, but there's an order in it, because not everybody had the same custom or same sin. For example, everyone's sin did not propagate the building of America. A people's sin and breaking of a commandment or a law that was given through Moses to them that they were supposed to follow, so that law would make them separate or above the nations. One more passage.
All right.
And this will bring it all together.
This is good, Josh. Real good, bro.
One more passage, brothers and sisters. Just hang in there. We're almost done. I want to go to the Apocrypha.
All right. Great book. Great books. Which one you got? Ezra? Ecclesiasticus?
Go to the book of Judith.
Judith? That's in the end, right? Towards the end? Tony?
No, Judith is right before.
Barak?
I think Wisdom is
Oh, it is? Okay.
no, right before Esther.
The additions to Esther.
So that's in the back there, right?
No, toward the front.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Judith.
Oh, towards the front. Hold on. Esther. So where is it? It's
Right
before.
before.
okay. Judith. Okay, what chapter, Josh?
5, verse
Okay.
20 and 21.
Oh, yeah, I have it underlined. Yeah. Okay. All right, Judith, chapter 5, 20 and 21. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people.
So this is a fundamental understanding of the nations. They understand if there's error or perverseness or sin amongst the Israelites, read.
And they sin against their power.
They sin against their power.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
So they understand the more wickedness and perverseness or sin, which is breaking the law, is propagated amongst blacks and Hispanics, that will ruin them and enable them to be ruled over.
Come on. And let us go up and we shall consume them, overcome them.
So they understand the only way they can rule is if they keep you away from the law, the Christ and the law. So they will teach you a perverted understanding of that, where it's all about being under grace, and there's no law or rules for you to follow.
Well, watch out. And but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them.
So they understand that
Oh yeah.
if the Israelites come together and wake up, that they cannot control or stop them.
That's right. And this awakening, nobody can stop anyway. And their power be for them. And we become a reproach before all the world. And that's coming anyway. That's coming. That's coming. That's coming anyway. So I want to say this real quick to our viewers. You hang in there because the end is soon. The Most High is going to have his way with his people. He's going to destroy the Edomite nations. I don't believe, Tony, for 1 second that America is going to see the Most High come back unless they use that blue beam. Come on, when that does it up. No, you have to get the Bible. What's up? Just sit. Get it, 20 seconds. Listen, I believe that blue beam, Tony, the government's going to try to fool the world. See, because the world is flat, and we know that, right, Tony?
Yeah.
The world's not round. So I heard a pastor say this. Now, listen how ridiculous this is. Well, he's going to go around the world, and everybody's going to see him. No. Well, like a ball? No. The world is not a ball. The world is flat. He's only going to appear. And he's not going to appear to America because America is going to be destroyed before he comes here. So that's why the warnings in the Bible are true. If you can leave, you should leave. A lot of people can't, but I'm not going to put no dampening on anybody. If you can, leave. I believe we can. I believe our family has the opportunity to go. Because why die in this iniquity, right, Josh, if we can leave?
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. Good lesson, Josh. It was really good, brother. I hope that you're go ahead, Josh.
It very much matters who you are.
Oh yeah.
How is it that everyone else, it matters who they are, but
How come? Mm-hmm.
And that goes back into programming of slavery. Make it where they have no distinct culture of their own.
That's right.
But yet, every other nation of people has it. That's why if you go to let's just say New York, right? The great melting pot, Babylon, right? You'll see a Koreatown, a Chinatown, a Jamaica, a Koreatown, a
Midtown, all the Irish. It's just they all stick out as a nation of people, except for the things that we have read to you tonight.
When Israelites try to make something for themselves, it's wrong, right? But see, that's programming. They can't unite together under one thing. That's why the black community is divided amongst every other philosophy you can think of.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But the truth of the Bible stands. The Bible says the word of the Most High stand and is sure. It's sure. Right?
Yep. Oh yeah, brother.
So be it.
So be it.
Shalom.
Shalom.